welcome. Very nice to have you here. I already mentioned you're the CEO and founder of Landwärme. You're a Germany-based biomethane supplier. Maybe for the people watching online at home here in the hall, can you just quickly maybe explain to us how biomethane can help in reducing emissions for methane, because that's maybe something people might be interested into knowing.
I think if we look at methane emission, we have three major sources. So we have upstream emissions we see around producing fossil fuels, but the waste industry and agriculture. And biomethane is tapping the last two of these sources, mainly looking avoid any emissions regarding the treatment of waste, but also in agriculture, mainly manure management and so on. And I think, but to tap all three, there are two words which we have to focus on. One is regulation, because if it comes to upstream emissions, this is all just a question of regulation. Look at a methane emission map of Europe and compare it to Russia, Middle East, or other areas of the world. It's about regulation and really cut it. And the other side is about fermentation, because most of this stuff, so most of the methane emission we can avoid in waste or agriculture, we can do this by fermentation. Take the manure to a fermentation, take the waste to fermentation, take the energy out of it, and then still use the product.
And is that how biomethane will help reduce those emissions? Or
yes,
can you tap to
because if we really tap these potentials and use these methane sources to produce biomethane, we avoid massively this climate impact, and at the same time we produce clean energy, which can be then also captured for CO2, so we can create negative emissions. So there are massive potentials we can use, really on focusing mainly on manure, wastewater, and bio-waste.
Yeah, and I saw online in the work that you do that there's also a link to be made, or at least that you guys make with CCS. Can you maybe elaborate on that specifically?
So in the fermentation process, we on the one side, it's biomass which captured CO2 from the atmosphere when the plant grew, even though it went through a process of, we produce food or it's manure. And in the fermentation process, we get out two gases. The one is CO2 and one is methane.
Right.
If we capture this, the methane we can use to produce energy. The CO2 can be used for the CCS purpose. And combined these two, the impact is very huge, because on the one side, we avoid methane emission. And methane is, if you look at the numbers, normally it's said it's 23, 25 times more harmful than CO2.
Right, yeah, it's 25.
In truth, it's 80 times more harmful.
Really?
But methane doesn't stay in the atmosphere for a long time. So that's why we come to this lower.
Right.
But on a very short time, and we see that the climate is changing rapidly, we have to also look in this really like half a decade, 1 decade. This is a really big impact, because we can cut methane emission by perhaps 70, even more percent in a very short period. And in that time, it's 80 times more harmful than CO2. And this is something where we could do a big sprint.
Yeah, so but you mentioned methane, and you also mentioned CO2 as an outcome,
yes.
The link with CCS. But when we talk about biogenic CO2, there's some potential there as well, right? Can you maybe share a little bit about that?
So if we look at the targets, 35 BCM of biomethane, which was set by the European Commission for 2030, if we combine this with CCS, so all of the biomethane production would be combined with CCS, we see an outcome of 50 million tons of CO2, which can be used for CCS. If we also capture the CO2 at the utilization of the biomethane, if we utilize it mainly in big power plants and so on, and also add there a CCS path, then we get an additional 50 to 70 million tons. So this is a big potential to, by 2030, with technology which is existing. So this is something which can happen today, which is happening already today. We have first projects also here in Berlin, where we do carbon capture and storage. So this is something which can start right away.
You say existing technology. How can we scale it up?
By just, really focusing on that every new biomethane plant, every new biogas plant is CCS ready, that every new gas power plant which can utilize the biomethane is CCS ready, and that we install a CCS infrastructure, CO2 pipelines, and so on. This is the pathway to go for the next 5 years.
Okay, yeah, that's also a very clear sort of time frame. Thank you so much, Mr. Elek, for sharing your perspective. I really appreciate it.